More Americans have died from domestic gunfire than all wars in U.S. history. This was a comment initially made by PBS commentator Mark Shields, and he said this on December 21st, 2012, which was a week after the Sandy Hook shootings. He was on the PBS NewsHour with Judy Woodruff and Mark Gerson. And on that, he said, Judy, the reality is, and it's a terrible reality, since Robert Kennedy died in the Ambassador Hotel on June 4th, 1968, more Americans have died from gunfire than died in all the wars in this country's history, from the Revolutionary War through the Civil War, World War I, II, in those 43 years alone. So PolitiFact, which is a known Pulitzer Prize-winning and fact-checking website, decided, let's investigate this, and they've ascertained that it is in fact true. From 1968 through 2011, 1.384 million people have died as a result of guns. Now, these numbers, if you look at them, are different than gun-related murders, right? So, for example, in 2011, gun-related murders were 11,000, but there were 30-something thousand people who died because of guns, and that includes suicides, accidents, and things which are not considered murders. War deaths, starting with the Revolutionary War, 1.171 million. So, incredible, Lewis, that 200,000 more people have died in the last 40 years from guns than in the entire history of this country in all the wars that have been fought.
Maybe we should just keep them around. It seems like they're actually a pretty good method of population control.
What do you think of that, Natan? I mean, what do you think when you see these numbers?
Well, obviously, there's a totally disproportionate amount of gun deaths given the first world status of this country. On the other hand, it should be mentioned that the population of the country before, in revolutionary times and through the Civil War and through the first half of the 20th century, was so much lower than it has been since 1968 that even if a very high percentage of people were killed, it's going to be a lower absolute number. Now, I'm not saying that this isn't a huge, unacceptable number, but we should probably put it in some perspective.
We should put it in some perspective, but it is still a very scary figure to realize that this is the reality today.
Yeah, and I still think it's more shocking to compare just the amount of gun deaths and gun crimes to other first world countries.
As long as you do it per capita, because otherwise people get mixed up in population differences.
Per capita, and I think that is even more shocking than this.